Hello viewers, welcome to Food Braggers Network. I do apologize that I have been off the air for a couple of months, but hey, I'm back and with more sizzling recipes to get you ready for the holiday. I know that Thanksgiving is fast approaching right here in the United States, and everyone be talking about all the delicious food that they could save on that day. And Christmas is also by the corner. So here I am to show you some of the most delicious recipes that you could share with your friends and family this festive season. So get ready as I have a ton ready for you. And again, welcome to Food Braggers Network. If you are new to the channel, please subscribe, be a part of the Food Braggers Network family, and be one of the first to be notified anytime I have posted new videos. So I'm going to begin with some delicious recipes that I have already planned for you. First, I'm going to show you how I prepare my turkey. Thanksgiving turkey is a big thing in the United States, as we all know, those of us who live here. Everyone talks about turkey, 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 turkey. Of course, there are so many people who do not like turkey. I have friends who do not like turkey and have been able to convert them to turkey lovers once they tested my turkey recipe. And I hope once you have tried this that you also will convert others to become turkey lovers. And I warn you ahead of time, make sure you buy a size big enough to go around the table, because once you've tried this recipe and people test it and they like it, you do not want to be the enemy of the year, because if you do not have enough to go around, then you have frowning faces. We do not want that to happen on Thanksgiving Day. So without talking so much, let's get started and let me show you how I make my delicious turkey. So guys, for this turkey recipe, I'm going to use a 16-pound turkey. It is still frozen and in the bag. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to keep it out to defrost. Sometimes it takes a whole day for that to happen. Some people leave it in the refrigerator to defrost, but I do leave it out and I wait until it is completely defrosted. Okay guys, so once my turkey has defrosted, what I basically do is to split it open. So I take here a good knife. You have one better than mine, please use it. And I simply rip through the middle of the turkey and open it up. So I'm going to open that turkey wide open, and when we look at it, also comes with some of the other parts. Like we do have here, I still have a little bit of ice, so I'm going to keep it a little bit longer, but I'm going to take out the parts that are in the middle here. So I have the neck bone and I have the liver and the gizzard all stuck in here. So I'm going to defrost this, open it up, and I'll take those and clean them separately. And then once that is done, and I'm going to now season my turkey, and I'll show us how I'm going to do it. So I have here all the ingredients that I will be using for this recipe here. These are all dry ingredients. I will also include some fresh ingredients, fresh onion and fresh garlic. So I will use 2 teaspoons each of these ingredients. I'll put those down in the description so you can see. And I will use just 1 teaspoon of salt. You can also reduce the quantities of all of this to your own taste. But however, because of the size of the bird that I'll be making, 2 tablespoons of all this definitely come very handy. And then of course 1 big bulb of onion. And I will be melting the country crock butter spread. You could call it vegetable oil spread. It goes by so many different names, but whatever the case, country crock butter spread is what I'll be using. I'll use 6 spoons of that. I'll melt it and I'll use it for the recipe as well. And I'll also use 6 tablespoons of the pure Irish butter. I will dissolve this and also use it. Both of these together will provide both flavor as well as moisture to the turkey. So one stick of this makes makes 6 tablespoons. So I will be using that as well to moisten as well as to flavor the turkey. So now I'm gonna get started so you could see how I make my turkey. So here I have an empty pan and I'm going to scoop in 6 tablespoons of the country crock spread or butter, as you may call it, into this pan, and I will put it into the oven and allow it to melt. Remember, the quantity that you use depends on the size of the bird that you have. I have a 16-pound bird, so I need as much spread or butter as possible to keep it moist. And so now that I've scooped that in, I'm going to put it into the oven and allow this to melt. I will also melt 1 stick of the Irish butter in a separate container and get it ready to use as well. So while this is all going on, I will also slice my onions that I will be using. So guys, as I've shown you, I will be using a pan to make this. If you do not want to use aluminum pan, you can also use glass pan. I do not have one big enough for the size of the bird that I want to make. Otherwise, I prefer actually to use the glass to bake this. But since I do not have one big enough, I will be using my aluminum foil to make it. So feel free to use whatever you have that can go into your your oven to make your turkey. Okay guys, so now I have the entire bird, as you can see, completely open in. And then I do have all the parts that came in it too, the bone, the neck bone. I have the liver, the gizzard. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start seasoning my turkey. So I have here crushed pepper. I have parsley, dried thyme, dry rosemary, dried curry powder, here dry garlic, salt, black pepper, and dry onions to go with it. What I do is I'm going to mix all my ingredients together. Nicely mix everything. So here I have the pan that I will be preparing this turkey in. I'm going to spread some of the mixed spices that I have here at the bottom of the pan. And I'm going to start by seasoning the turkey as well. Rub it in. I start from the back because I'm going to lay that down very soon. So I lay that down into the pan. And now I'm going to season the inside. Make sure I put that season into every part of the turkey. Whilst I'm doing this, I have my oven turned on at 350 degrees Fahrenheit. I'm going to allow it to heat up for 10 to 15 minutes before I put in the turkey. So while this is being prepared, my oven is already on. I have the other parts of the turkey that I have taken out, so I'm just going to lay that in there. Rub it in, allow it to stay. These are the parts, the liver, and these are the parts that came with it. I'm also going to season them nicely and leave them in there. And here I have my onions. I'm going to throw them in. I'm going to spread in the melted butter. The Irish butter that I have melted, I'm going to spread that on this. And I forgot to mention, I'm also adding some fresh pepper. So if you do not like pepper, you don't have to add, but I like it a little bit spicy, so I'm adding some fresh pepper to it. I'm spreading in some of the butter. Not completely melted, but it will melt in there. So I just pour that in. I'm now going to cover this nicely with foil pepper and then toss it into the oven at 350 degrees Fahrenheit. I'm going to cover it up using heavy duty aluminum foil. About 4 hours and this should be ready. My oven is already on, so I'm just going to toss it in. Here it is. It's been on for 15 minutes at 350 degrees Fahrenheit. So I'll toss that in and voila, I'll wait for my turkey to be ready. So this is the turkey after 4 hours in the oven. So I'm now going to take it out and I'm going to drain out the broth. I will use the broth to cook and I'm going to toss it back in and allow it to brown up a little, and I'll show us what the final turkey will look like. And this is the broth that I have drained out of the turkey. So I have a full pot of broth. This is turkey broth, and I will be using it to make so many different kinds of dishes. If you have seen my video on seasoned rice, I use chicken broth for that. You can also use turkey broth to make that seasoned rice. So I will be using that to make seasoned rice and a couple of other dishes. So stay tuned. Guys, this is what the final product looks like. It is absolutely delicious. Give it a try and let me know what you think of it. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. Subscribe to my channel at Food Braggers Network. Thank you.